Hi, baby boomer fans. We are Jackie and Janine, the Pfeiffer sisters, and love to talk about the 1950s, inviting you to reminisce with us as we explore experiences of that decade. Grab your favorite malt or Green River. Make sure you are wide awake and get ready to be inspired about the 1950s. Welcome to the 1950s Fun Chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're so glad you joined us again, and we hope that you are a repeat viewer for our 1950s Fun Chats. Each week, every story of the 1950s is unique and fun, and we hope that you gain a lot of insight about history from the 1950s in the same way. Jackie, well, today's another great guest. Can you lead us into that program, please?
Certainly. But first, housekeeping, and that is, viewers, please note the purple band below. www.whilethewindmillwatch.com is the source where you can go to find all sorts of information about that book, about the vendors, about our speaking engagements, which are coming up here pretty soon, and with a whole big bang. We have a couple of weeks on a book tour.
That's right.
Also, the 1950s Fun Chat. You can see all of the previous recordings. And Janine, what number is this one now?
This one is 107. It's been 2 years about.
Yes, it has. It has been 200. So also look, please, in the upper right-hand corner, you see a picture of the book. And you'll notice the cover is a beautiful North Dakota sunset, which wraps around the book. And you'll see that little white dot, which may be kind of hard to read, but what it says is that first of all, the book was published in 2021, and this award was given to the book in 2022. It is the National Independent Press Award for Regional Nonfiction category, and it received the Distinguished Favorite. So this little book has taken us a long way, and we're continuing to go. So speaking of going a long way, let's introduce our guest. A professional photographer from Fargo, North Dakota, Ina Sumra was born in the large city of Kazan, Russia, in 1970. Now, many families lived in apartments in her city, but her family's 3-bedroom apartment was a little special, and she'll tell us about that later. Ina's family of her father, mother, younger brother, grandfather, and grandmother all lived together in that apartment. Now, Ina trained as an aeronautical engineer, got married and moved to North Dakota about 18 years ago. Due to a lack of aeronautical jobs in rural North Dakota, she decided to follow her passion in the art world, a message her grandfather had encouraged. That is, follow your passion. Ina began learning photography through Professional Photographers of America, which is PPA, where she has earned 4 master's degrees. She also holds the title of Associate of the Royal Photographic Society of Portraiture from Britain, the only person in the U.S. to hold that distinction. She has taught and judged print and art competitions in the United States and was honored to be the keynote speaker in New Orleans at the Louisiana PPA convention in 2019. So for further accolades, and there are many, our viewers might want to go to her website, which is inaportraits.com. So Ina, welcome to the 1950s Fun Chat.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I feel really honored, and it was so nice to know you guys and what you do. It was it was really motivational for me to hear what you do and what you're writing and about rural North Dakota, and that's exactly where I am now.
Yes, you are. Yes. Well,
Why did you?
Tell us about how your family happened to live in their apartment and how it was special from the others in your building.
Yeah, so if you compare life in Russia those days, it was very different. I was born in 1970 in the family, my mom and dad, my brother, and I was the youngest one. So there's 2 children, and then my grandpa and grandma. So my grandfather, he was a World War II veteran, And that's how we actually ended up having a 3-bedroom apartment that will have hot water, shower, and a bathroom, and a phone. So we were fortunate enough to have it, but not every family in Russia those days had this kind of luxury.
You know, why did you come to America? Why leave your family and come to America?
Well, that's a good question, right? And I think it's this world is driven by love, and that's exactly what happened. So I met my those days my husband being, and then I moved here, and then we married here.
I see. So you moved here after you met him and married him. So, but
actually, no, so I shouldn't say that. So I moved here and we married here.
Yes, right. Yes, you said that, right? Okay. So before that, is that when you decided to study aeronautical engineering before you met him?
Yes. So that would be almost like a rule. Once you are done with school in Russia, those days, now it's all different. So you will have a choice to go and study like whatever you would like. Well, I guess based on your scores at the exams, and the final exams at school. So they were 10 grades those days. I think 12 now these days they have. But so that was it was very difficult to pass all those exams and get to a really good school and have a good education. But I got to as lots of young kids, they don't really know, and you remember yourself as being young, so you don't know what to do.
Yes.
So I didn't know. I had no idea those days that like art and photography could be my job, real job. So and my grandfather, he was a big influencer, and he said, if you want to go and study aircraft engines, he said, like, you can understand anything in this life.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's how it happened. Yeah.
And then your life drifted. You came to North Dakota. Your life drifted away from that aeronautical engineering into portrait photography. Did you express an interest in that as a young girl in photography, or was it just something that out of the blue it happened and you wanted to proceed with that kind of profession?
I always had a camera with me, so being an artist, that was always in me, and I was always drawn to the fashion, clothes, photography, art, drawing, painting, and all of these things I always loved to do. It was pretty easy, easy decision when I moved here to start the photography business.
Okay, all right. With your photography business now, I'm going to fast forward. We're fasting forward to what a special program that you have now called 50 over 50, and yet it so hits the target of our main focus on the 1950s fun chat. So tell us about the inception of that program, 50 over 50.
So this is actually my second year having this 50 over 50 program. And this is very special. That's where we have, it is a promotion to our studio, and I'm always being clear. But what we do here is I photographed 50 women last year, and we are almost done with the 50 women this year. So we are inviting women to come to the studio and have a portrait experience, so they would feel maybe I should start from a little different side. So I don't know, you girls feel like being in your age now, do you feel a little bit like of somehow feeling a little bit invisible to the society, would you say?
I think we've just been interviewed.
Yes. I think it's different for different women. It perhaps depending on the life that you've had for the first 50 years
Mhm.
that you've been alive, and yet it's a different situation for each of us. And I'm interested in learning about those 50 over 50 women who come to you for their portrait.
Yeah, so a lot of women, what I found, they do feel invisible. And I'm actually a prime example. I'm 53 years old. I was born in 1970. Aging is really is a little bit different. Nobody teaches us how to age right,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, and it's always an element of surprise. Every day is like
That is right.
it's like
You
different.
got
It's
it.
always so, and we do go through the change. It's and for some women, it is really difficult to just to get used to this, and they don't see themselves as beautiful as they used to be. They don't feel worse enough, and very often, what happens that women, and that's what I hear more and more. Women invest so much time in their life, just give so much to the family, to the raising children, taking care of everyone, and then later on taking care of all of elderly parents.
Hmm.
And then it seems like they don't give enough time for themselves, and they almost don't want to give themselves a permission to do something that would be for them. And this is one of the things that we do through 50 over 50. When they come to the studio, we have a consultation. So they meet with me because I want, even before we have a consultation, we have a chat
Hmm.
on the phone. So, and we talk about it. Well, I want to know why they want to be a part of this program. And then they tell me a part of their story, and we see if we actually fit within, like, if I understand them, if like we what we about to do, if it fits within our um uh what's the word?
Parameters.
Right, maybe that's not right. If it, works for both of us, because it has to be a like a flow, so we kind of feel each other, right?
Mhm.
So, and for some of them, sometimes some of the women, they said, I don't know, it's just I'm not maybe ready at this moment. Maybe I'll be ready later on. So there is a lot of things, because some of them are almost scared being seen who they are, and because that's through the camera, and that's what we do. We show the beauty and wisdom of women after 50 and share their stories.
What's the age of the oldest woman that you photographed in this program?
I think that we have she's 91. She was the only one. Marie, her name is. Yeah, and you would never believe, and she had so much energy within her. And important part is, like, you're thinking about 50, 60, 70 being old, right? And she's 90, and she's a firecracker, like
Good for her.
amazing.
Yes. Have you found that evidently this youngster, 91-year-old youngster, is not necessarily feeling that way, but the older women that you photograph, because you're starting at age 50 and going beyond that they have felt less significant in life, because as the decades have passed, for instance, since the 1950s, women have perhaps gained more recognition in the world. They are beyond caretakers of their family, and in many cases, whether they needed to for family finances or not, they have somehow found their niche in the world as time has progressed. Have you found that true with the stories of the women that you have interviewed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so most of them are successful women, and a lot of them, they already retired. So they are looking for things, like, most of them, they love traveling. That's their dream. Again, like, just almost every woman, she said, I want to go and travel now. I finally can do it. So yes, so most of them had successful careers, and some farmers even. I'm about to photograph a lady who is a farmer, and she still works and she has some other businesses, but again, so she is like all giving, and like she wants to do something for herself, and she wants to see herself beautiful again and feel beautiful, and that's I guess called me a talent. That's that I do have that talent and I can see the beauty that shines from the inside out.
Have you been able to see pictures of these women when they were in their 40s or their 30s, and in your mind, are they still as beautiful as they were then?
Totally, yes. It's so interesting. When I asked them if they were ever photographed before, most of the time they said like, yes, when I was a high school senior, maybe when it was a wedding.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons that we have this experience, because many women, they have never been photographed before, or some of them they bring some of them bring their photographs or show me photographs when they were at the wedding or a high school senior, or if you guys remember, it wasn't long enough, they called it glamour shots.
Oh yes.
So they were bringing me some of those photographs of those glamour shots. One lady brought the whole package, how it was packaged. It was interesting to see, and it's not, of course, it's not. What we do here is not a glamour shots at all. But that's, most of them have never been photographed before professionally, and nobody put that effort and had the interest in them to do it.
Sure.
But I've gotten the feeling that you just don't take a picture of them. You have a conversation with them, and you really try to find out what's in their soul in some cases, because then that will come out as you photograph your person. And that's why you're talking to them.
And what is all involved when someone comes in to be a part of the program, and you have the interview, and it's agreed that you will photograph them? What all do they experience when they come in for that photographic experience?
Well, first of all, they will be coming, and they will have a hair makeup done, and that's a big part of it. So they feel really, really pampered, and as again, many of them, they never seen themselves in that kind of light. And of course, we when I asked them how they want it to be done, and some ladies, they want to look more natural, how they look every day. Some women want to have a little bit more glamorous look with the lashes, and like maybe a little stronger makeup. So they have a hair and makeup done first, and then, which takes approximately an hour and a half. We usually start about 10:30 in the morning. So about noon they are ready. So that's how the experiences starting. So they all feel pampered and excited, and of course they and I'm in the studio right now, so I'm just looking at everything and kind of almost showing you where all of it happening. So then they have a clothes, and while they are at the chair having hair and makeup done, I'm looking at the clothes, what they brought, their jewelry, their shoes, and everything else. We are chatting, so we're kind of planning what we are going to do, and then we have a session which takes, it all depends, a couple of hours maybe, so during the session, you're probably like, that's interesting for you, what am I looking for? So most of the people, they start nervous, and not just they are not the only one who are nervous. I'm nervous too, because I don't know, like I don't know how the person, like how she's going to be. I always want to make sure that I deliver what I promise. So right when we start, we're both a little bit nervous, but when once we start talking, and it's always a conversation. And a camera is, it happened to be, I have a camera in my hands. So we have a conversation. So that's during that conversation, that usually the guards fall down because we do wear like well, how should I say, um, that we have a certain how should I bring it up in the right way? So I'm not saying that we are wearing masks, but we are always kind of trying to protect ourselves when we are out. And then we have a conversation, and I'm not saying I'm asking them the private questions. I already know most of the things about them, but just through the simple questions, and even like just chatting about food, and like starting very really easy, and and again, like the camera is just between us, so the person is she's getting used to being in front of the camera, and at some point she forgets actually that the camera is right there.
Sure.
It's just like it is becoming a really we are coming with a really true expressions, and like even within a few minutes, she sees, because I photograph, they call it tethered, meaning that my camera is connected to a computer screen. This is normally I just do it for myself because as you know, I'm a technical person, so I want everything to be perfect from a technical point of view. But having that screen there, I can show it to her, and maybe show one or two images that's coming right from the camera there, and always the first impression, she says, "Oh my gosh, is that me?" So that is pretty, and I know that if she says that, this is at the beginning of our adventure. Once we start changing the clothes, and I get every person that I get it, so I know. And very often what happens that when we have that connection, when that true moment is happening, just we both feel it. So and it reflects in the portrait. So that's how you see the soul of the person.
Sure. Are you sad when the session is over, or are the ladies sad when the session's over?
No, actually, no. They want to take me home.
Yeah.
And lots of them say like, okay, give me more, tell me more how beautiful I am. Just because that's we don't hear this often enough. Again, I'm a prime example. When somebody compliments me, I like that.
Yeah. Yes.
So and if I have some stories of ladies that they sometimes they're being abused in their marriage, and they never hear like a good words or saying that their second half complimenting about their beauty, and it's so sad. So some of them, but most of the women, they are as I said, they're forgetting that, hearing that they are beautiful, their eyes beautiful, their smiles, their hair, and there is just so much of it, and we have to remind ourselves, first of all. The second is, we have to be always genuine and compliment people, and I think that will make this world better.
Yes, yes, very much so. I'm curious to know, as the women have seen themselves perhaps in a new light as the session keeps moving forward, then it's over. And when they return to their homes, have they ever shared with you how they feel in their families, or in their marriages, or in their relationships? Is this session buoy them enough that it changes their personality and boosts their spirit to continue moving forward in life? Or have they expressed that they kind of go back to and reflect inwardly again about life?
That is just so interesting, what you just said. again, like everyone is different, but it does changes. I think I hope it changes their life to better. I hear from them. So once we are done with the session, when they come and they pick up their portraits, and I take the interview from them. So that's another part. But getting back to your comment is okay. So there is an example. There was a lady last year. I photographed. She was very quiet, and she just retired. She very faithful lady, and then she shared with me that uh, she's really scared of height, but she really wants to go and hike. I forgot what kind of mountain she wanted to go and hike. So I said, "What stops you? What do you have to lose?" That was a kind of our conversation, and she said, "I don't know. I never thought about it, but for some reason I just scared." I said, "Go and try it." And she brought a Bible to the session, and it was interesting enough. It was just such a quiet moment, and we have a fan going, and it was just really, really beautiful, quiet moment. She put hands like that together. She looked down, and at some point, the page of the Bible lifted up.
Oh.
And she kind of looked down, and then she looked at me, and it was just the most it was just a magical she felt that, I felt it, some kind of presence. So she, I don't know, maybe it was a movement for her. So she I showed her that image, and she started crying. So and then she was calling me a couple of months after that, late in the evening. I have all my ladies there on my cell phone on the speed dial. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" I picked up the phone. She said, "I just climbed the mountain. I'm looking at that, but I did it." So that was just one example. So I hope that changed their life to a better. There was another lady just I photographed 2 weeks ago. She lost her husband and a year ago, and she's still so in such a grieving process. And when she came here, I said, yes, I will listen to you. Sorry, guys. I said there would be no noise, but there is a noise here.
That's fine.
So anyway, so she was talking about her husband and his sickness and how everything was. I did listen, and it was going on and on. I said, okay, I know that we can talk about it, but I would really like to know more about you. Let's just, and she said, I want the session to be a beginning of not a new chapter, a new book in her life.
Oh.
Okay.
So, and once we were done with the session, she sent me a text message, and she said, "Thank you. It was an amazing experience. It was so uplifting. This is what I needed, and I'm starting a new book in my life. I'm ready to move on."
Good
All
for
right.
her. Yes.
You are quite a counselor. You have another hidden talent.
I don't know, but yeah. So it is. To be honest with you, this giving these experiences to women, it does change my life to better. I do have a purpose. I feel good that I can share this vision, how I see other people, and make their life a little better. So that's, I mean, my mission is accomplished. I feel pretty good about it.
Will you continue this program then after this year?
I will never stop doing this.
Yes. And once you gain 50 women each year, and this, you take their portraits, the session is over, then do you do something with the portraits? Is there a story beyond the photographic session?
So I'm interviewing women not all the ladies want to be in front of the camera,
Mhm.
interesting video camera. So they are okay being in front of the camera, but some of them are a little shy being in front of the video camera. So then I do some interviews in the video interview, and I will do the verbal interviews of those women. And we're planning to have a big celebration gala. So this is going to be happen in April or May next year, because of so many women in North Dakota, they go south for the winter. So, or those ones who don't, we just don't want to get it like in the holiday season or the time of the year when it gets really cold, that the winter would stop people, ladies to come for the celebration. So, and they will have a portraits there at this gala. So that will be like an exhibit celebration. So they'll come, they'll have a portraits showcasing each woman and a story under each portrait. So all the ladies will meet, and then they can come with their friends or their spouses. And we're thinking of having coming in gala dresses.
Fun. Make it fun.
Do you have a location for the gala?
We are looking for the spot at this moment. Yes.
Do you see that this is a traveling exhibit?
No, at this moment we are planning to be just local.
Okay. Yes.
So I'd like to back up and ask you how you chose Professional Photographers of America to assist you in your artistic passion.
I do believe this is one of the best professional organizations in the country, not just actually it's in the world. So if you want to learn, start. And I know lots of people, they just have a camera and they don't know professional rules of lighting, using, like printing. So because they call it, this generation is a lost generation, because we don't print. We have everything on our phones. And then what happened if you? Yes, I'm the same way. My daughter is right there, right there, right? So what happens if we lose it, if we don't print? So you have to, you have to deliver your products in a professional way. So I would highly recommend, if somebody wants to, start a business, study the rules and study the craft the right way.
Sure. And how were you introduced to this particular session, or business, I should say? How were you introduced to the Photographers of America?
Many years ago. So you just
you did some research and found them.
Yeah. So no, this is the only professional organization in United States that is teaching professional photographers how to have all their technical parts, how to run the business right, like everything, and including artistry. So that's where you're meeting all the the best artists in the world, photographers in the world, and you learn from the best ones. So and you grow. So I mean, that's I don't know. I don't even remember if I searched it or. Yeah. So that's it was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly how I found them. Everybody know about them. So
once you see the portrait and the image, do you hand paint the image as well, and to give someone an oil portraiture, you might say, an oil painting of it?
So there is a couple of different ways of doing this. So you can actually have a photograph, and from the photograph there is a special software that is using a similar media that is like, it could be an oil painting, it could be a charcoal, it could be a pastels. So they replicate the real media, but it is digitally. So you can actually digitally the portraits by hand. Well, I mean, using the software, and you're using a special tablet and pen, and it's just, you're basically painting. So you can create a painting that like that. We call it digital media. Some people, after they do the digital painting, they enhance them later on with the oils.
Okay.
So the reason that you can, like, why people like this kind of medium, because they you can actually keep the especially the facial structure, which is the most difficult to paint if you're a painter. So to keep it realistic. So, and of course, then there will be the oil paintings, which is totally different, and it's you can paint right from the photograph, and create a real painting, a freehand painting.
Okay. Do you do other portraiture? Do you take other images of other, for instance, senior photos or wedding photos, or that? Are you all around photographer?
Yeah, children, horses. But,
Yeah, so I mainly photograph in the studio. That's my specialty. I can photograph outside, and I don't photograph weddings, so that's mostly portraits in the studio.
Yes.
But of horses and everything else, landscapes, when I travel, I just do it for fun.
Sure.
Yes. And do you have something that you're considering as a unique program for the future? Or are you pretty much settled with the 50 over 50?
Oh, there is always something.
Yes.
Just I don't know. There is always something new to learn. I get excited. It's so interesting right now. They call the AI media. So I don't know where it's all going, and all the video productions and everything else. I think it's kind of fun and interesting to watch and maybe learn in the future. But I think that's you really can't replace that the connection when you have a person in front of the camera or a person in front of your canvas when you paint by any digital media.
Yes.
The connection that you have, you can't really replace that.
Yes, and just the fact too with the 50 over 50, how you can interview each individual lady and learn about their story and understand their nature and their background and just even their persona. I would think that is just a wonderful experience to have for you as a photographer, and that it aids you in perhaps in doing your work. Good.
Yeah,
Well,
this is something that when I started doing the interviews, I actually do like doing this. That's a new, something similar like you guys are doing here, but you have your own system doing this, and it is great. Yeah, I do enjoy doing that.
Well, you become friends with your guests or with your subject matter, and that is neat to add to that collection of friends and close associates that you gain by what you do in your profession. Ina, this has been wonderful to learn about you, your background, and your 50s for 50 over 50 program. 50 over 50. That's right. Is that correct? In the world of photographic portraiture and memories and helping women to maybe understand and themselves as they grow older. I know it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I always say to
Did we lose Janine?
It looks as though she's frozen.
No, we're back. We're back. I think it's time. Thank you. And viewers, we thank you for joining in this conversation today. And perhaps you would like to contact Ina as far as being part of the 50 over 50 program. How can they contact you, Ina?
They can always find me on my website. It's Ina, just like my first name, INNA, portraits with the S.com.
Okay.
Or they can call me. My studio number is 701-532-4662. Or they can email me at Ina, INNA, at Sumra, SUMRA.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Glorious. And maybe someday we'll meet face to face, who knows, in front of a camera with you.
Right.
That sounds fun.
Okay. Jackie, how can you
Thank
close
you.
our
Yes,
program?
we appreciate your time. I realize you are a busy lady, but thank you so much. And viewers, I would like to have you check out the red subscribe button, push that, and the blue thumbs up button. We'd appreciate having you check in that way. So until the next time, tell your friends, even your family, about the 1950s Fun Chat.
Yes.
Until next time, toodaloo.